the most decorated American soldier of World War II. He died in a plane crash in 1971, but the real mystery isn't how he died. It's why he lived the way he did. For 26 years, Audie hid the truth. He lived in his garage while his family stayed in the house. He slept with a loaded pistol under his pillow. He lost $3 million gambling. The government investigated him. His widow sued for $10 million. But none of that explains why a man who killed 241 enemy soldiers couldn't sleep in peace. Born June 20th, 1925 in Kingston, Texas, Audie was the seventh of 12 children. His father vanished often, leaving Audie to become the man of the house at age 12. He dropped out in 5th grade and picked cotton for $1 a day, about $23 today. That fed a house full of siblings. Then, at 16, Audie lost his mother. She died of pneumonia and heart disease. Afterward, his youngest siblings were sent to an orphanage. Audie was left completely alone. He never got over it. He once said, "She took something of me with her." That loss drove him to danger. Before the army, life had already taught him how to survive. Hunger made him a marksman. He hunted rabbits and squirrels to feed his family. A neighbor said Audie never missed, a skill that would make him deadly in war. By the end of World War II, he had killed at least 240 enemy soldiers. But at first, the military didn't want him. At 5 feet 5 inches and 112 pounds, he was too small. The Marines said no. The Navy said no. Even the Army tried to send him to cook school, but Audie wanted to fight. His sister helped forge his birth certificate. On June 30th, 1942, the Army let him in. He was only 17. In Sicily, July 1943, he got his first kills. 2 Italian officers on horseback. He was 18. That same week, malaria struck him, a disease that haunted him for years. At Anzio, he faced chaos. The beachhead was a slaughterhouse. Audie called it a place where you felt like a fugitive from the law of averages. On March 2nd, he crawled under fire and took out a German tank with rifle grenades, alone. He earned a Bronze Star, but medals didn't matter. Fear had left him. Then came his deepest wound, the death of his best friend, Laddie Tipton. Germans faked a surrender. Tipton stepped forward, and they gunned him down. Something snapped. Audie stormed their position solo, killed 6, wounded 2, and captured the rest. He later wrote, "I do not stop firing while there is a quiver of life left in them." It wasn't just revenge, it was heartbreak, fury, and survival. As others wore down, Audie sharpened. Bullets didn't scare him anymore. Officers said he could sense danger like no one else. His men respected him, but also feared him. He kept to himself and rarely got mail. He was no longer just a soldier, he had become something colder. When the Army offered to make him an officer, he refused. He didn't want to leave his men behind or force his exhausted unit to do drills. Malaria kept returning. Hospitalized several times, in Sicily, Naples, and March 1944, he always came back to fight. On May 8, 1944, he and 60 men from Company B earned the Combat Infantryman Badge, an honor for those who'd seen the worst, but no medal could heal what the war had taken from him. On January 26, 1945, near Holtzwihr, France, 19-year-old Audie stood between death and his countrymen. His unit was nearly wiped out. A day earlier, 102 of 120 men were lost. Only 18 remained, facing 6 German tanks and 250 enemy soldiers. The ground was frozen. No trenches, no cover, no backup, no hope. But Murphy refused to retreat. Then, the moment that should have ended it all. A German shell hit the tank destroyer beside him. It exploded in flames. The crew fled. Any sane man would run. Murphy climbed on top. With fire beneath his feet, he grabbed the .50 caliber machine gun and opened fire. Bullets came from 3 sides. His leg was hit by shrapnel. He kept firing. Holding a field radio in one hand, calling artillery strikes, he fought for an hour. Enemy soldiers closed as close as 10 yards before he cut them down. Private Anthony Abramsky watched in disbelief. "I expected to see the whole damn tank blow up, but it never did." When the smoke cleared, Murphy had killed or wounded about 50 Germans and stopped the attack almost alone. The tanks retreated once their infantry was wiped out. His men were stunned. They thought he was dead, but instead saw something not quite human. Wounded, exhausted, and bloodied, Murphy joined his men, not from behind, but at the front. Abramsky later called it the greatest display of guts and courage I have ever seen. By 21, Audie Murphy had done something no American ever had. He earned 33 U.S. military medals, all during World War II, every Combat Valor Award available. The Medal of Honor, Distinguished Service Cross, 2 Silver Stars, 2 Bronze Stars, 3 Purple Hearts, even the Legion of Merit. Not counting campaign ribbons and foreign honors, France's Legion of Honor, 2 Croix de Guerre medals, and Belgium's Croix de Guerre 1940 Palm. He rarely showed them off and gave many away. The replacements now sit in a Dallas museum. Then there's the number that followed him forever, 241, the enemy soldiers credited to him. Some estimates go higher, up to 250, including those killed by artillery he called in. Asked about the count, Murphy said, "I don't know how they know. I didn't keep count. I don't want to know." Asked how it felt to kill so many, he said, "It didn't feel either way. Feeling wasn't a luxury in the infantry." He never bragged. If anything, it weighed on him. "The only thing I've ever found I was any good at was war," he said, which is a terrible thing. Everything changed when Life magazine put his face on its July 16, 1945 cover. The photo of a young, freckled 21-year-old Texan made him famous overnight. When James Cagney saw the cover, he saw more than a hero. He saw potential. The label Most Decorated Soldier struck a chord. Cagney signed Murphy to his production company, promising him a new life in Hollywood. But things quickly fell apart. Despite the contract, the Cagney brothers never gave Murphy a single role. By 1947, their deal ended in a bitter falling out. Stranded in Hollywood, Murphy lived at Terry Hunt's athletic club. He didn't feel like he belonged. He said the film industry felt fake, plastic, nothing like the battlefield. In 1948, he finally landed a small part in Texas, Brooklyn, and Heaven for $500, about $7,000 today. It wasn't glamorous, but it was a start. Over the next 20 years, Murphy appeared in over 40 films and a TV series. But behind the scenes, he was miserable. He never believed he had what it took. Before his death, he told a San Antonio reporter, "I had one hang-up as an actor. I had no talent." He said it honestly. He told directors, "I made the same movie 20 times. It was easy, but not good." His words cut through Hollywood's glitter. Murphy wasn't chasing fame, he was surviving. Then came To Hell and Back, the film that defined him. Released in 1955, it was based on his autobiography. Murphy didn't want to play himself. He worried the public would think he was cashing in. He even suggested Tony Curtis for the role, but no one else could do it justice. The filming nearly broke him. Director Jesse Hibbs noticed a change. In westerns, Murphy followed orders. In this film, he obsessed over every detail. He told painters how to color craters to look freshly blasted. He checked every soldier's uniform. He advised on explosions because he'd seen them in real life. Still, he hated how Hollywood cleaned it all up. He remembered Anzio in Pouring Rain. On screen, it was sunshine. The Colmar Pocket was fought in snow and mud, but the film looked too clean, too easy. That disconnect ate at him. The public loved it. To Hell and Back became Universal's highest-grossing film for 20 years, until Jaws came along in 1975. No romance, no glamorous love story, just one man's war. It made millions. But while the box office boomed, Murphy broke down. Nightmares haunted Audie Murphy long after the war. Historian Max Hastings called him a psychological mess. Acting out battles for audiences only deepened his pain, trapping him in a Hollywood myth rather than the reality of his life. Behind the scenes, Murphy found solace in songwriting. Between 1962 and 1970, he co-wrote 18 country songs with Scott Turner, including the hit Shutters and Boards, recorded by nearly 60 artists. His gift for rhyme grew from poems he wrote during the war, but his personal life was troubled. In 1949, he married actress Wanda Hendricks. but violent flashbacks and paranoia soon drove her away. His second marriage to Pamela Archer brought 2 sons, but also emotional distance, as Pamela's strict religious beliefs created fear and isolation in their home. Murphy ended up secretly living in the garage, emotionally distant and haunted by trauma. His PTSD fueled addiction to sleeping pills and gambling, which cost him millions, about $3 million then, over $20 million today. Despite refusing endorsements to protect his image, he lost his fortune chasing the adrenaline rush of combat in casinos. By the late 60s, Murphy's movie career was collapsing. Once a top star earning $100,000 per film, offers dropped dramatically. Risky investments like an Algerian oil venture wiped out his savings. He struggled with debt, living apart from his family, but desperately trying to stay close to his sons. On May 28, 1971, Murphy boarded a plane for a business trip. The pilot, inexperienced with the plane and flying visually in poor weather, crashed into Brush Mountain, killing all aboard instantly. The wreckage took days to find. Investigations blamed pilot error, dismissing conspiracy theories of sabotage or government cover-up. Murphy's widow sued Colorado Aviation and others, winning $2.5 million in damages after 4 years, ending rumors. Murphy was buried at Arlington National Cemetery with a plain white headstone bearing his medals, just as he requested. Thousands still visit his grave each year, honoring a war hero whose real battles lasted long after the fighting ended. Please subscribe to our channel for more videos, and don't forget to press the bell icon.